All right, you beautiful humans. I have been watching the financial landscape lately, and it feels like we are living in what I'm seeing as the grift economy. And you know what I'm actually talking about. Everywhere that you turn, someone is trying to squeeze every last penny out of you with increasingly shady tactics. And I remember when buying something used to be straightforward. You generally pay a fair price for a good quality product, and that was it. Now, of course, you're hit with convenience fees, subscription traps, and tipping on grabbing your own bottle of water out of the fridge at a restaurant. And I understand that it's not necessarily up to the employee, but still. There's shrinkflation and dark patterns that are designed to confuse you into spending more than you actually intended. But here's the thing, I am not here to complain about it. I can commiserate with you on this, but I am always solution driven here, and I am here to help you fight back with your wallet and build real wealth despite all of these tricks. Because understanding how the system works against you is the first step to making it work for you. So let's actually dive into the modern grift economy and, more importantly, how to protect your financial future from it. So let's actually start with the silent wealth killer, and I think this is an obvious one. It's the subscription traps, but I'm actually not talking about the obvious ones like Netflix or Spotify that you actually use. I'm actually talking about the ones that somehow creeped in that are bleeding your bank account dry. So after you've actually watched this video, or if you're able to listen to this in the background, go ahead and check your bank statements from the last 3 months and look for these red flags. So charges under $15 that you barely notice, services that you might have signed up for during a free trial, apps that have charged you after you thought you canceled them, and monthly charges that you can't even remember signing up for. Because the FTC found that 76% of these websites that do subscriptions, they use at least one dark pattern, and these are shady design tricks that make it easy to sign up, but nearly impossible to cancel. You're looking for the cancel button. You're searching on the website. You can't find anything. And then you end up on a Reddit forum to figure it out. Now, action step 1 is canceling everything that you don't actively use. And I mean everything. If you haven't used it in the past month, it is gone. You can always resubscribe later if you actually need it. And action step 2 is setting up calendar reminders. I know this is going to be boring, but for any of those legit subscriptions that you have, you can review them quarterly. Treat these subscriptions like any important meeting. They need to justify their existence, especially when they keep creeping up the way that they do and saying well, costs are going up, yet they keep reporting record profits. But let's actually talk about something that is literally shrinking your purchasing power, and that, of course, is shrinkflation. I'm sure you're not new to it. Research has actually shown that 79% of consumers notice grocery shrinkflation in 2023. I think it's actually been happening longer than this, but it definitely has raised its ugly head here in 2025. Your favorite box of cereal? Well, it used to be 16 ounces. Now it's 13.5 ounces. And of course, speaking of cereal, are you the type that mixes cereals together in the bowl? Or are you just a single flavor kind of cereal connoisseur? Please let me know in the comments. I am genuinely curious. But of course, that bag of chips, well, Ruffles went from 9 ounces to 8.5 ounces, though apparently the amount of air inside the bag looks to be the same. So it looks like that they didn't skimp out on that help to cushion the fewer chips that could be crushed in the bag. But these brands are also coming out with bonus size packaging that in some cases are close to the original sizes that they were offering not that long ago. But shopping by unit price and not the package price. So most stores actually show you the per ounce or per pound price on the shelf tag. We are not talking about calculus here, my friends. This is simple. Compare the real cost, not the package cost. And even if you see the smaller boxes on sale, look at the unit cost of the bigger box that could still be cheaper, which brings me to my next tip, that is buying in bulk, when it makes sense, of course. So if you're already buying something regularly, buying a larger size often gives you better value per unit. Just make sure that you're actually using it. But going back on this, as far as the sale is concerned, if you've got a digital coupon, double up. Fewer trips to the store is also a savings. Then, of course, tracking your staples. So keeping a simple note on your phone with the unit prices of items that you buy regularly. When you see a significant jump, well, guess what? It is time to find some alternatives. Let's actually talk about the convenience fees, which actually are really only convenient for the business. I just went to the Metallica concert with my kids, and what in the world is with these concert tickets with a $50 service fee? They break everything down. It's just can't we just get a flat fee? Then, of course, there is that food delivery fee that turns that $12 sandwich into a $25 sandwich. Here's what we need to consider. So direct ordering is the hack, and this isn't really a hack, but skip the third-party apps and use the website, or yes, call them. Call the restaurants directly. Most will actually take your order for pickup without the 30% markup from the delivery apps. And if you're paying any kind of bills through a third-party service, just understand that there are plenty of utility companies out there that are not going to charge you exorbitant fees. They might charge you a small credit card fee but it's going to be a lot less than those third-party payment services. And then, of course, buying tickets from the source. So check if the venues sell tickets directly. Sometimes you can actually avoid Ticketmaster entirely. Sometimes you can't get away with it, but at least try. Then, of course, there is the cashback strategy. So if you must use services with fees, use a cashback credit card and pay it off immediately. At least earn something back on the money that you're already spending, but I am reiterating here that don't go spending money that you don't have just to get a few bucks back on your credit card. And here's where we actually flip over from defense to offense. So while companies are getting better at extracting money from you, you can get better at making your money work for you. So automate your investments. So setting up those automatic transfers to your investment accounts, making it harder to spend that money on impulse purchases and easier to build wealth. There, of course, is the index fund investing. While everyone is trying to sell you the next big thing, the meme stock, boring index funds have quietly made more millionaires than any get-rich-quick schemes. Low fees, broad diversification, and they don't require you to be a stock picking genius. And I really love tech myself and the NASDAQ, and QQQ is one that I would recommend in this space. And here's the thing, target date funds for your 401k. These are really an autopilot investment vehicle where they automatically adjust your risk level as you get older. Set it and forget it while you focus on dodging all the other financial traps. It might not work for everyone, but it could be a consideration. Then, of course, there is a 10% rule. So before you spend money on anything non-essential, ask yourself, could I invest 10% of this instead? That $200 concert ticket? Well, could I actually take 20 bucks of that and invest it first? That $50 impulse purchase? Invest $5. And a real world example that I'm using right now is that last year, my son saved a lot of money from his summer job and purchased his own car, cash in hand. Now, the agreement that we made is that we said we'd help him with purchasing gas from time to time over the next year. Well, he came back and asked again if we could continue to help him since a year has already passed, and I said yes, but that I'm actually going to look at the credit card statements, and whatever he spent, I will be transferring that amount from his bank account to his Roth IRA and investing that money. I didn't think that this was any kind of Jedi mind trick, but he bought into that idea. And the thing is, he doesn't even watch my videos on this channel anyway, so I think we're good. But for you, you will be amazed how this simple filter changes your spending habits. So let's actually talk about one of the sneakiest parts of the grift economy, and that is the planned obsolescence. So this is actually when companies literally design products to break, go out of style, or become outdated so that you have to keep buying more. Your grandparents, my grandparents, actually had appliances that lasted for decades. And I've got like new refrigerators that the ice maker breaks after the first 6 months. Your phone starts slowing down after 2 years, which Apple, they actually did admit that this was due to the loss of battery health over time, and they wanted to prevent unexpected shutdowns. But I've actually replaced batteries in several devices over the years, and AppleCare will cover it. But if you don't have this coverage, it's usually around like $100 to fix it. And this will give your phone some new life to get you back on TikTok. And I will say, 2 of my boys still are rocking the iPhone 11 with several battery changes out of it. But think about it. We used to have clothes from the 80s that still look great in these vintage stores and the thrifting. But now your clothes fall apart after a few washes, and that cheap furniture from certain retailers basically disintegrates if you look at it the wrong way. But fast fashion brands like H&M, there's of course like Old Navy, and even Gap, which they used to be quality, I thought, but now they're putting out 12 to 24 collections per year. That is double the industry standard. They're not just selling you clothes, they're selling you anxiety that what you have in your closet isn't good enough anymore. And here's the thing, research is showing that 99% of our products are designed to be obsolete before their time. The fashion industry alone accounts for 10% of global carbon emissions, and we're projected to throw away even more clothing as fast fashion grows to $214 billion by 2029. But here's the thing where we need to flip it. So instead of falling for the planned obsolescence trap, adopt the buy it nice or buy it twice mentality. This means investing in quality items that last, even if it means waiting a little bit longer or paying more upfront. That $20 fast fashion shirt that falls apart in 3 washes, you'll end up buying 5 of them. However, that $60 quality shirt that lasts 5 years, you're actually saving money in the long run. And then of course, a good cast iron skillet can last generations if you take care of it. I just actually picked one up. I love this thing. But quality leather shoes can be resold and last decades. You could have a well-made sweater that won't pill after 2 wears. But before buying anything, ask yourself, am I buying this because I need it or because someone convinced me that the old one isn't good enough anymore? If you can wait a few weeks or months to save up for the better version, that is almost always the smarter financial move. But let's actually talk about becoming a smarter consumer in this grift economy. So the 24-hour rule, so for any purchase over $50, let's just say $50, Wait 24 hours. Now, for anything that's over $200, wait at least 72 hours and a week if you can. Because this simple delay tactic will save you thousands on impulse purchases because you're more likely to just forget about it if you didn't actually need it. And also, before buying anything, calculate the true cost, including all the fees, the taxes, the ongoing expenses. So that $20 a month gym membership, it's actually $240 per year. Is it worth it if you only go twice a month? Stop going twice a month. You got to go more. But look at the total cost, not just the monthly. And instead of paying for multiple streaming services, rotate them. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but maybe watch Netflix for a few months. Then you go ahead and cancel it after you've exhausted that library and then switch over to Hulu. This could actually be a creative way to avoid subscription fatigue and also limit the possibilities so that you're kind of just forced to use one of them. And here's the thing that maybe many of you are already doing, but try generic brands for everything that's not mission critical. Store brand cereal, generic medications, off-brand cleaning supplies, they are often made in the same factories as name brands, but they often cost 30 to 50% less. And then, this is my favorite, so before buying anything that you plan to use regularly, spend time researching, read reviews, check return policies, and look for companies that actually stand behind their products with real warranties. A few hours of research can save you hundreds in replacements, and my wife gives me static about this all the time. But while everybody else is getting nickeled and dimed, you're going to be building a financial fortress that protects you from all of these scams. The emergency fund shield, and yes, that first line of defense, I've already talked about $1,000 for your emergency fund, and then working toward your 3 to 6 months of expenses. Because when life actually throws you for a loop, you don't want to use credit cards if you don't have to or fall for predatory emergency loan offers. And the automatic transfers, keep it realistic, $25 to $50 per paycheck. Your investment accounts, 10% of your income minimum. And then of course there is the fun money account. Yes, the guilt-free spending, and you are allowed to have fun. Then I've actually talked a lot about side hustles, and in a grift economy, multiple income streams are your best protection. With some of the layoffs and cuts that are happening right now, I can speak from experience that eventually those businesses will realize that they have overcorrected and there will be some freelancing and consulting opportunities available. So think about what you could possibly offer. What do you also have sitting around your house that you can sell online? Monetizing a skill that you have, diversifying your income so that you are not dependent on just one income source. The best investment that you can make is in your own financial education. There are many free resources such as reading books, go to the library and get the free books, taking free courses, and listening to podcasts. The more that you know, the harder it becomes for anyone to separate you from your money. And here's the thing about the grift economy. It thrives on your inattention to the details and emotional spending, but you can actually flip this completely around. So instead of asking, can I afford this? Ask, is this the best use of my money? That simple mental shift will change everything. And don't wait for financial problems to force you to make changes. Take control now while you have options. Yes, this system is designed to extract money from you, but now that you know the game, you can actually play it better than most people. Every dollar that you don't waste on the grift economy nonsense is a dollar that can grow through compound interest. I know that I've actually said not to put too much emphasis on the $5 item and focus on the $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 goal to bump up that income. But for the sake of this video, a $5 coffee habit can cost you $1,825 per year, and invest that at 7% annual returns. That's $245,000 over 30 years. That's not about never having coffee. It's about being intentional with your money. Look, I'm actually not telling you to move to the woods and never spend money. I'm telling you to become a strategic spender who builds wealth despite living in a system designed to keep you broke. Remember, the grift economy is real, but it's not unstoppable. Every dollar that you protect and invest is a vote for your financial future. Every subscription you cancel is money you can put toward building wealth. Every impulse purchase that you avoid is compound interest working in your favor. I would love to hear from you, so drop a comment below and tell me, what is the most random charge that you have actually seen out there? And more importantly, what is one action that you're going to be taking this week to protect your money? Now go make your money work as hard for you as these companies are working to take it from you. I appreciate your time here, and I will catch you right back here on your next level up.